Hello, welcome to part 2. This is the part where I'm going to show you how to join all the squares. So this is my written pattern that I'm going to include with the tutorial, but I just need to scroll down to show you the chart that I've devised to show you how to join all your motifs together. So here it is. So this is the chart that shows you how to join the flower motifs. So we have a row all the way around of flower motifs in the colour that you've denoted to A. We've got one, the inner square, which is the motifs that denoted to the colour B, and obviously the inside one. So the squares that I'm going to show you how to join is going to be this row here. So I've got my A, my B motifs. So I'm going to show you how to individually join these squares together, and then I'm going to show you how to join the row of squares to the next row of squares, and this is how you make your full blanket. So the way I do it is join my individual squares in rows first of all, and then I join each row, row to each row, so it makes it a lot easier, and then we can make up our pattern, our chart as we go along. Okay then. Okay, so I've blocked all my squares and they're all dry now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to join all of these squares together. So I'm going to show you how I start to do that first of all. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first two squares to join together. So what I do is, this is the front of the square and this is the back of the squares here. So what I need to do is I need to join the two fronts together. So I need to fold them together so I have the two fronts together. So I've sewn all my ends in already. So we sandwich them together with the two right sides facing inwards. So the two right sides are joining. And I'm using my 3.5 hook for this, and I'm also using my cream yarn, which is the main contrasting yarn that I've used all the way through all my motifs. Now each motif has in each corner a chain stitch, and then we have like the 2 half double crochets in each corner. So what we need to do is we need to start off in the right hand side corner. If you are left handed, then start off in the left hand side corner over here, but I'm right handed. And what we need to do is we need to pick up our stitches all the way along. Okay, so here's my motif sandwiched together. I've put my hook through the corner, the little corner space here, and that's how I like to line up my squares. So I can see that this V shape here for the top of the half double crochet stitch, and this V shape here are the first stitches that I need to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yarn, I'm going to put it over my hook, and I'm going to pull it through both layers, so both of those half double crochet stitches. I'm going to leave quite a long end, about 8 centimeters. I'm going to pick up that loop and securing that end with my fingers, and I'm going to pick up my yarn over my hook, and I'm going to just pull it through that loop, so slip stitch through that loop. Now what I'm going to do is all the way along I'm going to put my hook through the V stitch here and the next V stitch, so the 2 half double crochets. I'm going to pick up my yarn and pull it through, then I'm going to pick up my yarn again and I'm going to pull that through, and this is called the slip stitch technique of joining. So again, putting our crochet hook through the first layer, the first V stitch, V shape, and the second V shape, picking up our yarn and pulling it through both, picking up our yarn and pulling through again. So I'm going to zoom out a wee bit. I'm going to do that all the way along. So yarn through, picking up, slip stitch, yarn through, picking up, slip stitch, yarn through, picking up, slip it through there, all the way along. It's really easy, like so. So when I get to the end, I'll show you how I quickly fasten off, and it really is absolutely as simple as that. Okay, so I'm right at the end here. Pull my loop through, snip my end, my hook, and just pull that end through the loop and secure off, and then we'll sew that in a minute. And if we open up on the back here, you can see it's a very, very neat back. So this actually, when you finish this, it looks really lovely from both sides. And the right side, as you can see, it's a really gorgeous join. And you can't really see because you've used the same colour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my next motif. So the way that I will do that is, it's difficult to see which side is which. Yep. So I'm going to add that like this and start again. So I'll be joining my yarn again here in the corner if you're right-handed, or in the left corner, and then working my way along, following the chart as I've shown you on the laptop on my pattern that I'm making. When I finish joining this row, then I'll show you how I go about joining the rows together rather than just the single squares. Okay, so I've joined my 2 rows. I can't quite fit them all onto the camera, but here they are. So what we need to do now is we need to do exactly the same as we did when we were just doing the single squares. So we need to put the good sides together, so the fronts together, the right side together. So we're sandwiching them all together. And basically we're going to work exactly the same as we did do for the individual squares. So I'm going to take my yarn again. So we have our sandwich, but it's a really huge sandwich now. I'm going to find my corner, so exactly the same advice as the last time. If you're left-handed, you'll start from the left-hand side, but I'm right-handed. And so what we're going to do is, so we go in, find our corner again, here and here, and I can see there that my 2 V-stitches, there, one there, and one there. So that's going to be my start point. I'm going to zoom in just so that you can see. So this is going to be my start point. So I'm going to get my yarn again, and I'm going to pull it through those stitches. I'm going to take hold of my 8 centimetre roughly tail end, and I'm going to hold that at the back, and I'm going to slip stitch just to secure that first stitch there. And what I'm going to do, exactly the same as before, I'm going to be picking up all the way along this first 2 sandwiched squares. So I'm just going to be picking the stitches up as I've just shown you for the individual squares. So I'll just check that's right, just making sure I'm in the right stitch here. Yes, that's it. All the way along. Now, if you're not feeling as confident doing it this way, you can actually use your pins, the pins that you used for your blocking, to pin together your squares. But I find because we've already blocked each square, it's very easy to see where the stitches are. It's not wobbly. they all kind of lay really nicely. So we're going all the way along. I'm going to take you up to the right to the corner, show you how we negotiate the corner, and then really that's the end of the tutorial for the joining in this lovely seam stitch, this slip stitch seam. I love it for this kind of blanket. I do use other methods, and I'll share those with you as I develop and design my projects. But this is a canny, and it's really good. It's really easy to undo if you feel that you haven't matched your squares up effectively or whatever. So we're coming to the end here. So let me just pull that out a moment. So if you can see, if we have a look on here, this is like our little, the little corner here on this one. And if we have a look on let me just move out of the way. This is the corner here for the square behind. So we're just going to literally join those two little corners together. So this one and this one. Just check that I've got both stitches. There we are, and that's those corners. Now we're going to jump over to the next side. So we have our corner here, so that's the first stitch there, and behind here is our stitch here. Now if you feel that you're not being accurate or you've missed a stitch, then for this particular design it really doesn't make an awful lot of difference. So we just join those squares now together. I'm just going to do a few more along the second lot of squares, then I'm going to open it out to show you. So I'll just pull that out for a moment. So if we have a look here, if you can see this, oops, there we are. So you can't get any neater than that really. I mean, that's a lovely and neat. There's no holes in there at all. I will press the seams just so they're lovely and straight later on, but that's absolutely perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to continue all the way along our length here. So I'm going to sandwich them together again, and we're going to continue all the way along right to the end, fasten off, sew our ends in, and then attach all our parts of our blanket in exactly the same way. And then once I've done that, we'll have a look at how we're going to create our gorgeous edging. So I'll meet back up with you after I've sewn all mine together and you've sewn all of yours, stitched all of yours together in the way that you've chosen. I'm doing mine in this way that I've just shown you, and I'll catch up for you at the end. Okay, so we have joined all our squares together and it looks absolutely gorgeous, lovely and even. I'm just going to go down and show you the opposite side. So if you have a look on the opposite side with this lovely seam stitch, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I've either on both sides, it's really quite lovely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our border now all the way around, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'll be back in a minute.